which supported production, preservation, dissemination of scientific thoughts. Performing arts in real sense were active laboratories and vehicles of transmission of scientific knowledge. In this context, works of Kapila Vatsyayan, who was also a student of Banaras Hindu University, are very important because she is trying to understand classical dances, Bharatanatyam, music through the lens of science and social history. So it's a novel attempt in itself. So, what are we doing here? We are taking a new look at arts. Let's look at it as scientific principles transmitted through arts. Which are the scientific principles we are talking about? We are talking about astronomy, mathematics, acoustics, physics, and physiology. We are also talking about how craft technology, medicine, and ecological principles are being communicated through performing arts. And all these performing arts are one side, and we are also talking about pedagogy. Pedagogy is the science of education. Performing arts in themselves, the way they are transmitting knowledge, they are also a novel means of giving education. They are also talking about the science of education in itself. So, and one more point that is very close to my heart over here that's been made is that they performing arts reduced the space between elites and non-elites. Somehow they are talking about subaltern histories. When I think about history, it's not just the elites that I think about. I always think about the subalterns. What were the common people doing? And here the performing arts are quite a bridge between what the elites were doing and what the non-elites were doing. Because performing arts, the music, the dance, they were to be observed by the non-elites, women, the marginalized sections, lower castes, which are very close to my research topic as well. And more than this, they also transmitted philosophical and metaphysical knowledge about the very purpose of the human life. So this is how I'm going to look at arts. Now if we take about a historical view of this particular thing, then we see that the colonial people, they took a very compartmentalized and siloed view of traditional performing arts. So they would just study the Sanskrit text based on philology, have scholars like William Jones, Monia Williams, nationalist historiography, way it was it tried to rediscover our old glory, but still they were not looking in an interdisciplinary way where we could connect arts with science itself. They were just talking about idealized spirituality, the greatness of our culture. But how is that culture also conveying science? Post-independent systematic interdisciplinary attempts were made by studying rasa and tala, ragas by scholars like I said, Kapila Vatsyayan and D.V. Karnat. Then that was also good attempt, but still it was not perfect. Then we have anthropological attempts by Rustam Baruch, Erikini, etc. And finally we come to the history of science approach, where we are actually doing this thing to some extent. We have Sharma and Platon's work on mathematical analysis of talas. We have biomechanics of Kalari Bertum that is studied by scholars like Zarili, and also we study architecture and acoustics. Now, the sources and approaches used in present study are textual. Like I said, I'm attempting an interdisciplinary approach. So textual, Natya Shastra by Bharat Muni, of course, Sangeet Ratnagar of Sarandev are the primary sources that I am using over here. But I'm analyzing it through a scientific lens and not through just aesthetics. Then there are also material and architectural sources, the stages, the mandapas, the temples that were the grounds on which these arts were conveyed. Then there are also, like I said, subaltern traditions of oral and embodied things like Yakshagana, Bhava, Itatali, folk theatres of India. So now let's talk about the knowledge that we are getting. We have scholars like Vasant Kumar Acharya and Stella Cramrish, who have started in temple architecture. They say that Vastu, Shilpa Shastra systems of India connected astrological knowledge. They conveyed it, and Stella Cramrish says that Temple of India were in fact a cosmic diagram that would connect divinity. So it also has a scientific design to connect to divinity, as they argue. And performance rituals, as we know, are connected to lunar phases, astrological equinoxes, and seasonal festivities, and all these things are important. So of course astrology is embedded over there. In addition to this, we also have geometry in the way the stages were designed, the way dances were arranged, the way they were choreographed. So also that is the thing of cosmological, astrological, and astronomical knowledge they are making. Then one very important part is embodied mathematics. It's more important in music, wherein tal and all these things are shown in cyclical pattern. If we look at the primary sources like Sangeet Ratnagar by Sarandev and Abhinay Darpan and all these texts, they are talking in very scientific terms about the based on very cyclic patterns, permutations, and beat arithmetics. And in addition to this, even in dance, we have something like Samabhaga concept that's been given by Kapila Vatsyayan. So it is very geometric and it is based on laws of gravity, physics. It's very deeply embedded in that. So of course, acoustics, swaras, and in addition to this, we also know that the instruments, the extant specimens of instruments from that period that we have, they also convey material science knowledge to us. Now, one very important again part is medicine, physiology, and cognitive sciences. So medicine was involved when we study things like Kalaripattam. We see that Ayurveda and Marmavidya, physiotherapy were very connected to Kalaripattam along with their theatre, that is Kutiyattam, and in Kathakali as well. And in Natya Shastra, Bharat Muni talks about Rasabhava theory. You can see the image, the way the emotions are conveyed. It's been connected to affective psychology by many scholars. They are Shendel followed by Vatsyayan, of course. So psychology is also being studied through these arts. And pedagogy, like I mentioned earlier, technical memory, attention, sensory integration. These performances were laboratories, systematic, psychological, and medical knowledge transmission. So this is about it. And then the last point I think is about costume, dermatology, and chemistry. Now we look at this Kathakali, which is very common. We look at it, we talk about it as, oh, it's such beautiful makeup and such great aesthetics. But we also have to think, if they are using it, there's chemistry involved there. There's cosmetology involved there. There's dermatology involved there because they are not getting allergies and reactions. So the kind of dyes that they are using, that is also a kind of science. We should be thinking more about it. And of course, martial arts also is included, and we know all about physiology and this through this. And then we come to the last point, that's philosophical and metaphysical traditions. The Bharat Muni in Natya Shastra and all other historians are saying that the ultimate aim of dance performance is not aesthetics, going beyond, it's about going metaphysical. It's connecting to the ultimate reality, the Brahman, or the concepts of Jivan Mukti and Paramananda, and attainment of Purushartha. So even our art forms are talking about these Upanishadic concepts according to the Rishis. Now the modes of transmission were like the Kalari schools, the bards, the yogis, and very important part is Vedasis. These are important people. They are not just social cases, they are transmitters of knowledge. They have much to tell us. Then there are case studies like I mentioned about Kerala, Kalaripattam, the Chidambaram temple and geometry of dance, and Yakshagan is also one of it as mentioned. And then, of course, I'm talking about women performance and their roles because women and their role in performing arts, transmission of science, is something also important. Their songs, their traditions, they are transmitting a lot of knowledge about aesthetics, nutritional and ecological values. Their wedding lullabies and songs and all these things, they are talking about knowledge of childbirth, nutrition and herbal remedies. So, to conclude, I would say that performing arts were just very important mediums of scientific and technological knowledge which we need to take seriously in an interdisciplinary approach. They were accessible across gender, caste and class lines. They were subaltern in that sense. They were multimodal as they combined ritual, science, crafts and social settings, famously said by Kapila Vatsyayan, persisted across generations and they were really effective dissemination or knowledge dissemination system. And community-based, community-driven approach is something that we see here. And when ending here, I would also like to talk about the path ahead because it's not just the end. What I talked about is just the tip of the iceberg. There's so many more to come. So we can combine philology, material science, ethnography, cognitive science, and digital humanity to further expand these kinds of research that will really deepen our understanding of performance and the transmission of medical knowledge in the way we see South Asia itself. So these are the references in case anyone's interested more. Like I said, Natya Shastra, Sangeet Ratnakar, Abhinay Darpan, architecture of Manasura. So if anyone's interested, they can look into this Manasura, Sabina Bharati. And these are the secondary source in this context. I think Kapila Vatsyayan, Stella Cambridge, and Zarili's work are really important if anyone wants to pursue it further. Thank you so much.